The viewers, the last topic for tonight is the 2020-2021 school year that is to begin by the 5th of October. And we are getting it, or we know what is ravaging the whole world now, the COVID-19. And we are getting that the school session shall be a kind of twin session each day, where the first team shall start in the morning and end by 1, and the second team starts at 1, end by 5 each day. And so these are some of the things we are going to look at, and how we can help our administrators to give them idea, given that we are appreciating what the government is trying to do, that these children should go back to school. And we have heard that those called the separatists have said that no, children should go back to school, which means this year is going to be a year with a different. So we want to appreciate that. This time I would have loved to begin with the educationists on the platform. You permit me do that. Okay, the school year will be going back not too long, although the university will be starting on the 15th, but by the 5th, the secondary and the basic will be starting. What do you think?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I want to first of all congratulate the Cameroon GCE board for their effort to see that the GCE exams were marked successfully. Kudos to the director of the GCE board first for that. Because I congratulate because we had a dreadful COVID-19 issue of spacing children respecting the measures. Thanks for that successful marking. Mr. Moderator, permit me say that Albert Einstein, a very great scientist, said education is a tool that builds a mind. And I want to say that for these 4 years, my problem is with the children in the hinterland. Education is a key. The word education comes from the Greek word educare, which means to bring out, to train, to rear, educare and educere, to rear. And I want to say that formal education is very important because children have been receiving informal education, especially children in the remote areas. And I want all stakeholders, even the non-state actors, they should allow our children to go to school. For 4 years, majority of children in the hinterlands, in the northwest and southwest, have not been going to school. They have not been able to acquire formal education. The dreadful COVID-19 also came by, and children did not go to school. And most of them had to migrate to the francophone areas where life became so expensive and costly for them. And we are talking of an issue where the Anglophones have their own values to build, a bicultural system. Let's allow our children in the northwest and southwest to go to school from the 5th of September. The Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Nalova Lyonga, already came out with an itinerary how the school year will run. And according to her, the school year will run as such. The students will still respect the physical and the social distance, because we are still, let's know that the COVID-19 is still very much dreadful, especially in the Western world. It's still very dreadful. We must respect the measures. My problem is the issue of infrastructure. She has said that the number of students per class should be reduced to 50, which is very important. We know of class sizes that are even 70 and 80. And my problem is that, Mr. Moderator, if you are to teach a subject like biology, let me say you have to teach for 1 hour. That means a teacher is supposed to separate the class into 2. You teach the first set of biology students in the same class, in a one shift, and then you still come back and you teach another set of biology, the same set of students in the same class, in another shift. And I want to see, this is so expensive. The mind of somebody is not like a computer, because when you look at the information processing by accessing and shifting, it says that the human mind is just like that of a computer, but it's not like that of a computer to an extent, because for what you encode, what you store, what you retrieve will not be the same thing that you will be teaching the other children at that other shift. Mr. Moderator, let's note that. And who is going to pay these extra hours for teachers? Because it's very demanding. That means teachers must also sacrifice. And if we are not, logically, if we are not careful, Saturday will not be a resting day for our children. And children need to rest, they need to take care of their school uniforms, they need to also take care and do house chores. So schools might even run from Monday to Saturday. It will be a hectic year. And as an educationist, as a psychologist, what I would say is that we need to collaborate. All stakeholders must collaborate. From the parents, from the guardians, from the teachers, from the PTA, the administrators. They need to collaborate. They need to work in synergy to see that the school year and the stakeholders, the government, to see that the school year is successful. Government should provide also the facilities. Because we are saying that 50 students go to, because look at the Northwest and Southwest. Most children have migrated into the Francophone areas. Yeah. And then when you go to some of these classes, they are quite full. And there are no logistics. So government also should be thinking of logistics. It is very, very important. The number of benches, the number of buildings to add in schools. And we are talking as such, private schools have population now even more than the government schools. They have to monitor and see whether these schools have logistics. Because we are talking of decentralization, which is not effective. The mayors would have been monitoring this. Are we saying that Man Nalova will leave Yaoundé to monitor this all over the country? But I feel that their technical advisors, their inspectors, their pedagogical inspectors, and so on, they need to work in collegia with everybody. My problem now, let me learn now with the Northwest and Southwest. Looking at the Northwest and Southwest, if you go to our suburbs, Mr. Moderator, to be honest, the schools are up to today, the government schools in our suburbs, they are still bushy. Schools have not been going on. What about such cases? What is the government doing about that? So that children should not migrate. Because I got information, even with family members, that children are already migrating from Bamenda to Yaoundé for schools. I'm asking myself, what about the government schools and the private schools in our hinterlands in the Northwest and Southwest? What is happening that these schools have not been cleared? The fear factor is still in the mind of people. So we are just trying to, these children must go to school. When you look at education, when you look at education for all, children must go to school. It is very normal, even in war-torn countries, in the Afghanistan, children still go to school. What our advice is that the separatist leaders, those who are holding guns in the Northwest and Southwest, they should allow children to go to school. Okay. That is the truth. And most of these children already have fear, because we have situations where teachers' hands have been chopped, when children have been kidnapped, and the fear factor is still there. We need to change the mindset of those who are holding guns, and we can only do that through genuine dialogue so that we have sustainable education in this country.
Yeah, but just to tell our viewers that the separatists have started sending messages that the schools should go on. And so I think it's a good news. So we just pray that there won't be any contradiction along the line. So now the separatists have decided to think in favor of the children, that they should go to school, and the government is doing some efforts. But what's your take about this school year that is coming? We'll have from morning to 1, then 1 to 5 p.m., 2 sessions. Then each class will be limited to 50 students. Coronavirus is there, and so on.
I think we really sympathize with our students at this level, because the new academic year that is beginning is really beginning amidst a lot of difficulties. If you look at the issues on ground, you will see there's poverty as a result of a stop in economic activities due to COVID-19. You will look at the COVID-19 itself, that is still hovering around as a threat to the lives of individuals. You will also look at the Anglophone crisis. That is something that nobody knows, because even though you feel at one point that things have come to normalcy, but on the other day you will hear bullets flying, helter-skelter. So it is an issue that you can never tell. So I'm really feeling pity for the students because they are resuming to school amidst these difficulties. But as per the new calendar year, and the academic year, you will realize that as the academician rightly put it, there will be some challenges that our students are going to face, because the students are going to face those challenges, as well as the staffs are also going to face even more of the challenges, because if you at one point the minister just moves out a communique that they are going to be having classes in 2 shifts. The issue now, like the doctor mentioned, is the issue of logistics, and the issue of staffing, because the teachers are limited, and every teacher has hours in a day that they can render to teach. By the time you want to give a teacher that was supposed to teach maybe 12 hours a day, you want to increase it to 24 hours, automatically his capacity might not carry. And even if his capacity carries, automatically he will
not be effective.
His brain will not be able to deliver the goods properly. So I'm also calling on the schools to know that it's an issue of emergency. You know, when emergency comes, we have to work in line with the emergency. So I'm calling on the schools concerned, especially the lay private schools, to recruit more teachers.
What's your take, before I go to Mr. Njomo, what's your take about the government has decided to subsidize in the basic education? They have spent more than 7 billion to make sure that they'll give free books to children of the basic education.
It's still in line with what I'm saying. You know, there's a lot of poverty as a result of the difficult times that Cameroon is going through, be it the Anglophone region or the Francophone region. So for that reason, I feel that the initiative is welcome, because it will at least save parents the stress. But my prayer is that there should be a rational distribution, so that these books don't end up in the bags of some gurus or some bosses who feel that they can take some of those books and sell and make income for themselves to remain rich. So I'm calling on the stakeholders concerned to redistribute this book right down to the villages, to the commoner who does not have
to inform our viewers that when those book comes, it is written on it that not to be sold. So it will be given free to children. So if anybody will want to sell it and you see them not to be sold, you just make sure you alert the administration. Mr. Njomo Cyril, we foresee a situation, especially with the private school, where they want to collect their school fees or the tuition all, because maybe they will be foreseeing another stoppage and so on. And there will be that lock ahead again between PTA, parents, and the school.
Listen, Mr. Moderator, the issue of collecting the entire school fee at the beginning can possibly not work, because it's not the making of the parent not to pay the entire fee at once. They don't have the money. So this school year is coming amidst a situation where parents will be overtaxed, and coming to think that their salary has been slashed for some following the challenge of COVID-19. But equally, there is a growing school need and demand from the children that dropped school some 6 months ago, those of intermediary classes like lower states from 4 and others that are moving to examination classes. They will be in need of books and others that some have not mastered the internet that is coming to replace the remote system, the on-site system of learning. All these things put together is putting parents at the tight end. And I want to talking about the free manual that has been given to primary school. I want to say that it's for only class 1 and 2 of both system of education. And it is an offer given by the UNICEF as a support, not by the Jacobin government. And I want to call on the emissary on the platform that they should go and tell to their champion this. They are feeling pitiful for children at the support, and you are unable to address those who are perpetrating violence, and their assimilation project is not being genuine, because we know those who are maintaining chaos in the suburb of the Anglophone region. We know those who are making students not to go to school and migrating to the Francophone region, but we refuse to address those people on the platform. I don't think that is very serious.
And to learn, I want to tell the youngsters that I was your age in the 80s and the 90s. We equally had that scenarios. I don't know whether some of us here were born or were already at that age. We had that same scenario where sometimes we were going to school during the afternoon and sometime in the morning. And so I understand the psychology that you might be going through this year. And I want to talk to you that these are the few cardinal words that should guide your school year. First, probity. Probity, the ability to start steadfast for the truth. Be able to be guided by ethical value, whatever the situation. Respect measures that have been put in place to fight COVID-19. Even if deep in me, I don't believe in the COVID-19 because it's appearing more and more to be an orchestrated factor. And you must uphold to moral values.
I think you once said that is real.
And I mean, yes, I said it's real just like every
okay.
No, when I say I've started raising doubts on it, it's normal. When we're children, we started believe in the God that the religion gave us. But the more we grow older, we start thinking that our excuse me, sir.
COVID-19 is real.
We have malaria in Cameroon, okay? And in Western Europe, in most of America and Western Europe, they don't have malaria. They don't have mosquitoes. And do you understand that any symptom of malaria can kill them? And so that was not a debate. I just wanted to give the cardinal words. And we have talked of probity, uphold moral standards, but most importantly, respect COVID-19 measures that has been put in place.
Teaching be stopped.
No. That is the future.
How can you accept that it should be stopped?
At least that's what I really wanted I should pass out, because some schools might just take it at all case.
The issue of online learning is very important because we are far back.
Yeah.
We are really far back, and I think that even the teachers, most of them do not understand virtual learning because what we are talking today is what we call hybrid learning, blended learning, where you mix the two, face-to-face learning and digital learning. And most of our teachers need seminars, they need referential courses. What we are saying is that the government of Cameroon has to spend a lot in education. They have to spend a lot in digitalization. They need headmasters and principals must go for referential courses. All teachers, it's an issue of teachers and students also and pupils. We should start at the level of primary school. We must start transforming our educational system from primary school to higher education.
Delegates in the Southwest calling for the teachers for 1 week seminar. I got that announcement. We shall just be concluding. 30 seconds, please. We have no time.
I want to so muchly thank you for entertaining me on your panel, and I want to make this dichotomy that when they talk of the government is really not a party. In Cameroon, we are seeing the government as a political party. No, even though the party that wins might have some major position manned by the members of that party, but it doesn't mean that they will not be responsible for the acts. That is why today, after you drop from your responsibility, you might be at the prison for not have performed your duty well. So if you look at the military is just an arm of the government. It's not the arm of a party. So I want to call on all Cameroonians to know that if you are a military man, if you are a teacher, if you are whosoever, don't praise an individual simply because he is from a party. Do your work with a lot of ethics. Do what your mind tells you is right, so that at the end you will achieve the goods. If you are a military man, you go to the field, struggle as much as possible to defend human rights, because that is what you were drilled to do.
Mr. Njomo Cyril, we are concluding.
I want to thank you, one of the finest moderators, and I want to recommit to all my what I said during this platform, especially those of the beginning, that I make sure I give all my respect to the co-panelists and members of I want to maintain those words to say that it was not a mistake, even if tonight we have not agreed on so many things. But I still believe sincerely that these gentlemen are people of high caliber, and I will always live to admire them.
Dr. Busi.
I want to end by saying that democracy is still a process, and Cameroon is striving towards democracy, and we pray that someday we may have democracy. What I call for in this country is we need strong institutions in Cameroon, Mr. Moderator. We need institutions that are stronger than personality. And I want to end by saying that all children should brave
and go back to school, and parents should protect their children psychologically. And education is the bedrock that shapes the minds of people. It's only education that can bring development in Cameroon. And I pray that the government also needs to shape our curriculum to be more transformative to better Cameroon. Thank you.
Yes, dear viewers, here we come to the end of today's program. Just to say that we'll still discuss on this school. You will see that this gentleman had a lot to say, but due to time, we'll still discuss on it. And those who are waiting the results of the GC, a few days' time, not too long, a few days from now, the GC will be out. So if you don't make it, keep on. Don't be discouraged. And we pray that all those who are around these children during their school periods, please just devote your time. Even the military who were teaching in the suburb and so on, please, we pray that you still continue this time, because you don't know tomorrow. Your own child too will be somewhere. So I want to thank you for being part of this program. See you next time.